Hello, and thank you so much for coming here today. I'm going to talk about machine learning and how to implement it in your internal link audit. I just want to say thank you for coming to my talk before I begin. And also, because of the nature of my talk, I have to put out a few quick disclaimers before I start. I am an SEO and data science manager at Intrepid Digital. I'm also a content creator in the SEO space, where I try to create resources to help SEOs become more efficient and streamlined in the way that they do things. And I'm also growth and efficiency obsessed. But please don't be fooled. I am definitely not a Python developer, a machine learning expert, any kind of expert for that matter. I learn every single day, or a guru, my favorite. So, if I can be on the stage of Brighton SEO today, talking about machine learning and how you can implement it in your internal link audit, then I guarantee you can absolutely execute all of the scripts that I'm going to be talking about after I've just said I'm not all of these things. And if I can find 10 opportunities to implement machine learning, I guarantee you're probably going to find 10 more. So please do let me know after you give it a try. Now let's get into it. In the past couple of years, I've worked mostly agency side with a little bit of freelancing on the side. And my goal was always to improve the quality of the way that I've done things and the deliverables I give to my clients. The challenge was always the time I had available to research, test out, and implement new things that are coming in the industry. So the opportunity that I saw was in business process automation, and machine learning kind of became my ally in order to actually execute on this goal. So while I'm not going to present any end-to-end, custom-built, groundbreaking new technologies today, I promise you that I am presenting a tested claim and a very simple promise, and my entire talk is based on this, that if you embrace machine learning-enabled incremental improvements to your workflow, this can have a compounding effect on your SEO impact. And today is going to be all about that, how you can utilize machine learning in order to achieve these incremental improvements I'm talking about. Now, in just 20 minutes, we're going to talk about why you should do internal linking and how you can incorporate machine learning in your audit, what you should be analyzing, how you can cluster content using machine learning, how you can discover new linking opportunities using fuzzy matching, and also how you can discover places where you should link using technologies regardless of the size of your site. And finally, we're going to talk about how you're going to deliver your audit and how you can measure, track the impact of your activities and learn from what the metrics are showing. So let's talk about why bother. Why is this important? First, we're going to have a look about the relevant search algorithm history. We know about PageRank. That is one of Google's first algorithms, and it is still used today. It relies on both the quality and quantity of links. But after its introduction, there has also been a few supporting algorithms, such as RankBrain, that focuses on intent-driven structure and topic comprehension. What's important for RankBrain is things, not strings. And most recently, we've seen the introduction of MUM. Now, that surfaces subtopics based on semantic relationships, and it can also comprehend content in different modes, whether it's text, visual, or video-based. So we know that links are still a crucial part of content discovery, but we also should know that content is king. So I'm going to stop you right there. And if you're thinking that internal linking is going to help you, if your content is not good enough, then just pause it right there and work on creating good content. Without good content, the context that you can provide using internal links or backlinks becomes meaningless. But if the quality of the content is there, the context becomes the vessel to push the content forward. Now, if you're thinking, is this still relevant in 2022? I did a very quick term frequency analysis of this book, for which 66 experts contributed, including myself. And there are 48 mentions of internal links in the book. And just for comparison, there are only 17 for backlinks. So in my opinion, experts do recognize that this is a very important activity to do even today. And in my opinion, it's all about what you can control. You can control internal linking and activities and strategies. You have access to the CMS, so very quick and easy to implement. But you can control is backlinks, and it's a little bit more costly to implement a backlink or PR campaign as opposed to an internal linking campaign. And here's what Aleda has to say. According to her, this is a very high impact activity that is often critical for the priority of ranking, but is often also overlooked. And according to a study, 82% of internal linking opportunities are missed. That is a study that Dixon Jones completed for InLinks that he presented for the Majestic podcast. And if you want a little bit more authority talking about this topic, here's John Mueller ranting on and on and on about how important internal linking is, how you should implement it for better structure, crawling, indexing, and all these wonderful things. And if you want to deep dive into his tweets, I absolutely recommend it, especially on this topic. They're always a wonderful, wonderful read. So we know that we should have an internal linking strategy. And here is what we know that it should aim to do. Establish topical authority, boost money-making pages, enrich our search intent, and also build subtopic relationships. And as a result of implementing internal link activities, who doesn't also need any of these found and known side effects of doing that, which is better structure, improved indexing, better navigation and user experience, more keywords ranked, increased traffic and click-through rates, and also user engagement. So let's talk about how to analyze an internal linking structure and what should an internal linking audit assess. I typically split my audit into 5 sections. First of all, being link frequency. How often do we find internal links and unique in links for pages? How many pages are orphaned? These are things that can that can indicate poor crawling or poor ability for a page to be discovered. We can also assess things like link quality. What is the placement of links? Are we utilizing added link sections such as related posts or breadcrumbs navigation? This can help crawlers and users better comprehend our pages, and we might be hindering them from doing so. We have to look at the anchor text. What is the type of anchor text? How many words does it typically contain? What is the length? Where is the anchor text included? And we also have to look at the hierarchy. What is the crawl depth? What are the top pages that we're linking towards the most? And do these align with the money-making pages on the website? Finally, it's also very important in the analysis section to talk about the mistakes that this site is making in terms of internal links. Are there any broken links? Are there any no-follow tags? Are there any UTM parameters used in the internal links? These are things that can impact crawling, indexing, even traffic and analytics. And most of this can be identified with a quick crawl and a clever Data Studio template. So I'm not going to sit here and say you need machine learning to do so. You absolutely don't. However, if you want to dig deep really into your site structure and to do a very good analysis, you need machine learning to help you do that. And to do what? For instance, classify anchor text. You can use scripts such as Ngram classification for internal linking sites by Greg Bernhardt, or by Richmond SEO training. You can incorporate models like GPT-3 to classify keywords. And both of them have done an amazing job to make this resources into a format that is easily digestible for beginners and very easy to implement as well. And you can also, at this analysis stage, look at identifying entities. You can use Google's natural language API to do so, or AWS Comprehend, which is very similar to that. But the idea here is that you need to identify the different entities that are prominent across the content of your website, and also see what type of entities are you most commonly referencing. You also it's very good for you to think about what are the relationships between these entities, not only identifying them. So here you can use different knowledge graph visualization services, or you can build a knowledge graph yourself using this handy tutorial. The idea here is that you would like to see what the links are between these entities on your site. So, in a nutshell, more insights will lead to better recommendations. And it's important for you to understand that you're going to do a much better job if you try to see your content and links the way search engines see it, to understand how to improve it. Now let's talk about how you can cluster content using machine learning. Content clusters in SEO are typically seen like this. You have the content that is clustered that can be in different formats. You have the internal links or hyperlinks that link to a pillar page. But content clusters in machine learning are typically referred to as topic models, and they are a little bit different. Now, the fundamentals are absolutely the same. The old way of presenting a page was to have it as a standalone page and rely on backlinks to this page in order to signal its importance. And the new way is to put this page in the context of other existing content on your website. So let's think about how did topic modeling come about in order to assess its relevance. According to the author of the first topic modeling algorithm, there was a problem. As collective knowledge increases, discovery of information gets more and more difficult. The solution, in his opinion, was that computational tools can be implemented to help organize, search, and understand these vast amounts of information. Another problem he saw is that the current systems of query and links are good, but they can be very limiting. And the solution, in his opinion, was that we need systems to organize documents based on themes or otherwise topics and subtopics. The final problem he saw is that there's no ability to zoom in and out of topics of interest and to highlight patterns within these topics. And the solution, he thought, was that we need topic models that operate under the assumption that a document has multiple subtopics within it. And this is how the first topic modeling algorithm was born, that is called LDA. Now, the idea behind LDA is that you have different words that can stand as descriptors for a particular topic. And the algorithm actually calculates the probability of each word in this document aligning to one of the main core topics that the algorithm identifies. And what this allows is someone like us coming in and looking at these different words that describe a particular subtopic in a document and giving them names, like what do they mean? What do these terms represent? What is the name of this topic? And then seeing how often are these different subtopics represented as part of the given document. Topic modeling, in its nutshell, in its core, is pattern recognition, is in large text-based corpuses of data. But most importantly, it was made for us. It was made for us SEOs to use. And in the past 20 years, a lot has happened in this field. First, in 2003, LDA was introduced, which operates under the assumption that words and topics can be inter-exchanged. Then LSA was introduced, which actually brought about the use of synonyms. And then in 2008, probability was introduced in how the computation was done, which allowed for scalability of how these models were implemented. Then hybrid models came about a decade later, and now, since 2017, we are seeing the introduction of deep learning and topic modeling. But the problem that we professionals face remains the same. We are not using these models. So why don't we try an ML-based solution? We can use one of these two methods and two tutorials I'm linking here to kickstart your journey. One of them being an LDA tutorial and the other one being an LSA. Or you can just skip the code and jump straight in. I've recorded a video to show you a step-by-step tutorial of how to do topic modeling using a no-code, publicly available web-based application that uses LDA. In a nutshell, this video will show you how to crawl and export the content on your website, how to upload your files to the web app and fine-tune the model's performance, and also downloading the files and exploring them and building these files into your deliverable of the internal linking audit. And this is how it's going to look like in the end. You're going to have a couple of files, one of them showing the topic-to-topic similarity, or how often do the different topics identified on your website co-occur, or whether some of them are not related at all and they don't co-occur on the site. And another kind of output of this is that you're going to have the belonging of each content on your site, each page, based on a particular topic. So what is the probability of this page belonging to this topic? And you're also going to get a GEMSIM file that is going to enable you to quickly visualize, using a very cool interactive chart, the topics and the most frequent terms of each of them. And I just want to take a quick pause here and just prompt you to look at what you have achieved. You saved a ton of time. This exercise has taken you no more than 30 minutes. You also have a baseline overview of the main topic clusters and their relationship. You also tested something new, so it's important to scrutinize the output and tell your client how you have improved it, or if it was good enough, congrats. Now, let's talk about what additional opportunities you can discover using machine learning. And to do that, we're going to enter fuzzy matching into the conversation. That is a quick and dirty way for calculating similarity between two strings. As with the other topic modeling algorithm, I recorded a video to show you how to use polyfuzz fuzzy matching in your internal link audit, but to also use it for other cool things, because there are so many resources created by people in our industry about fuzzy matching that you can utilize very quickly. In a nutshell, the video will show you how to crawl and model the topics of your website based on its content, how to organize and think about what you want to assess similarity of, whether it's going to be the titles, the URLs, the paragraph structure, or anything else. Then you're going to run a simple script in order to assess the similarity and assess whether the page has already been linked. Is the output good enough? Would you typically think about linking these two pages if it wasn't for the algorithm suggesting it? And then build your list of final recommendations based on similarity of these two strings. Now, this is what your final deliverable is probably going to look like. And in order to check whether the link exists, you can incorporate a crawl of the current in-link structure. And when you are thinking about additional internal link opportunities, don't forget to cover your bases. We're talking things like related article sections and most popular sections, depending on what your site allows. We're talking things like breadcrumbs navigation and appropriate breadcrumb schema implemented. We're also talking things about very well optimized in terms of information, in terms of intent, in terms of category structure and types of content available, footer menu and footer navigation. And on the topic of footer menus, a study by SearchPilot actually showed that for the particular site that they were analyzing, having more internal links actually resulted in a 10% increase of organic traffic for desktop and a 5% for mobile. Now, this doesn't mean that adding a bunch of links to your footer is going to be a good strategy for your site, but it does mean that experimentation and testing with the number of links in your footer menu is very important in order to nail that sweet spot for your site. And about these buttons, I have a very big pet peeve with them. Absolutely say no to them. Read more buttons or click here buttons are not helpful to anyone but the developer implementing them. Replace them with something a little bit more informative of the destination of the link and use rich contextual anchor text for these type of buttons. Now, how to find where to link. For smaller sites and smaller internal link initiatives, you can use Screaming Frog in order to identify these opportunities. For medium-sized sites and internal link initiatives, you can copy a template that I've created in order to quickly fill in your keywords, fill in your content, and find whether the particular keyword that you're interested in linking to is already present on the page. And for really big sites and really big internal link initiatives, you can use something like BigQuery in order to do essentially the same thing. The logic is the same in all three things. You are trying to find at scale, quickly, the pages where you can find this particular anchor text that you're interested in linking a page with. And don't forget something very important in this stage. You have to search for intent-based keyword variations when you're searching for your keywords and finding opportunities where to link. You have to search for different anchor types. So for instance, branded, non-branded, mixed, etc. You have to incorporate entity-based linking, and you have to also think about how you can boost money-making pages in the process. So essentially, I'm just bringing your attention back to all of these analyses that we presented in the beginning that you already have available in your disposal. And also think about how you can boost informational intent pages, high intent pages, and pillar pages in order to create a structure that supports high conversions on your site. And finally, let's talk about how you can build your deliverable, learn and measure. What should you include in your internal link audit deliverable? You should include your analysis, present that in a format that allows for benchmarking, and that is typically a Data Studio template or a Google Sheets template that will allow for a comparison of before and after. You should also include the topic models after finalizing the categories. It's best practice to brew these in as segments into Google Analytics, Google Search Console, Data Studio, in order for you to track the traffic for particular topics and to also track the rankings for these topics as well after you've implemented your initiative. Think about the additional internal link opportunities, highlight the different strategies that your client can use, and don't forget to also prioritize and budget for this initiative. Think about how are links going to be implemented, who's going to be helping you with that, what the timeline is for that, how you're going to track the effect and results. And when we're talking about tracking, here's what you should measure. Your reporting should include things like benchmarking or all of the different things that we talked about assessing in the beginning. And it should also include things like growth metrics or the expected outcomes. You should have a look at those too in order to see what the initiative is actually doing, what you want it to do. And for growth reporting, you should track 3 different pillars or otherwise: traffic metrics, engagement metrics, and the number of queries. However, a very, very huge caveat here, as Will Critchlow explains from Search Pilot, internal link effect measurement is really hard, and our intuition about internal link structures is actually pretty poor. In other words, what I'm trying to say here, and what Will has said very, very well, is failing as part of the process. So for that, it's very important for you to know that you need to test different internal linking strategies. You need to do experiments frequently. You need to report and measure their effectiveness. And you also need to document your learnings and see what actually works for your site, for your client, for the industry and niche that you are operating in. And those 3 things are the way to go in terms of ensuring that internal linking strategies are actually beneficial for your site. And before I go, I just want to say that this deck, all of the reference work of all the amazing people that I've mentioned in my talk and a talk write-up are going to be available on my website after the talk. So you can check and reflect on the things that we have talked about today. And I also want to say that Intrepid Digital is hiring for talented folk. And if you want to come work with us for some exciting US and global brands, this is your cue to give us a message. And finally, I just want to say thank you so much for coming to my talk. It means the world, and I am very, very proud and humbled to be on this stage today. Thank you.